Thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Tommy Struzis, obviously with Scribble Software. I've got Mike Fitzgibbons with me, Julie Rory, and Chandler Austin with me as well as backup here on this session. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about ScribChoice. Now, you know, a lot of people might not know this, but ScribChoice is actually built into Scrib and Roll. So it's kind of in a single app. So I'm going to be talking specifically about ScribChoice features and things of that nature today. But first, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and do a little client spotlight. And I'm going to turn this over to Bridget so that she can go ahead and start a video.
All right, I am working on it. Okay, so our spotlight today, or for this session, trying to make sure we can see everything here. You know what? We're just going to see a little piece of it. Okay, we ready? We are going to, there we go.
We are the 49th largest school district in the United States and the 9th largest district here in Florida. As a county, as our Brevard Public Schools, we employ approximately 9,300 staff members to serve over 73,000 students. Scribs came up with what we call the family dashboard, and that's on the parent side. The streamlining of the parent side has been incredible, and our parents really like it. The biggest challenge is telling them when you create your account, use an email and a password you'll remember. So it's really helped our parents with minimal clicks get through and submit an application. On the school side, it has really helped. We used to have a 4-step process. Scribs was able to work with us on customizing it and saying, no, we want location change only to be a 2-step process. We approve the application, it goes in the lottery, the schools offer a seat. That's it.
All right, that was great from Brevard Public Schools. Tommy, before you get started, you can pull your presentation back up, but I just want to remind everybody, if you have questions, the best way to ask those questions we're finding is to write them in the Q&A. So there's a question and answer portion of Zoom. That's the best way to ask a question because we can keep track of what's been answered and what hasn't been answered. So you can continue to write questions in the chat, but it's a lot more manageable for our team if it's in Q&A, the Q&A portion. All right, Tommy, take it away.
All right, so today we're going to talk about ScribChoice. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some features. We're going to show you guys some new features, and we're going to talk about the actual problem we're trying to solve with the solution that we have. So we kind of want to go back and see what we're trying to solve. But first, to keep it kind of simple, what is ScribChoice? ScribChoice came before Scrib and Roll. So the way we think of it as an online platform for K-12 to host a slew of different types of programs, kind of like how Tom Austin mentioned before. You know, you can really do a lot of things with this application. Lottery programs is a big feature. It was one of our main features that Christine Davis, that you just heard from, actually helped us develop down in Florida. Student transfer, student releases is a new feature. Things like that. You know, but that's kind of what it means for you. I think that, you know, as a parent myself of several children who have gone through a similar process for our schools in our area, you know, it really means a lot to discuss what it means to the parents. So the way I like to describe what this means to parents is with 3 words: empowerment, agency, and accountability. So these 3 words really kind of encapsulate what we're trying to do with this application. We're making things really super simple for school districts and for parents to be able to get the kind of education that the students really want. We give the ability for the school districts to offer the parents of their district, you know, many different options. The parents have accountability to their own children's education, and they can really do a lot of things with that. So we really want to give everybody the power to really control their children's futures. So let's dive in and let's take a look at a case scenario. We're going to take a look at the Blake family. So the Blake family, they have a few kids. They're a rather large family, kind of like mine. They're just your average busy American family with a hectic schedule. So they have all their children are in school. So they have a teenage daughter, they have 3 elementary school students, and they also have a set of twins, which makes things a little more complex in doing these types of things. So from their side, to break it down, we have a ninth grader, Vanessa. So Vanessa really wants to get into an early college program at Eastside High. It's competitive. It has a long wait list. A lot of times these programs do have long wait lists. So instead of just having the one option for the early college program, she also might want to transfer into Westside High just in case, which is just a straight transfer. So she can actually do 2 applications. So that creates 2. So the problem we're trying to solve here is we're going to see all these applications, how they build up and how parents get kind of frustrated. So then we have Caroline. She's interested in the dual language immersion program at West Smithfield. She does like her current school. She just wants to try to get in for the DLI program, and that's okay. If she doesn't get in, then she'll stay at her current school. That's another application. Then we have the twins, Colin and Brian. So these guys, they want to go to a STEM academy, but the issue is they're twins. Mom really doesn't want to split them up, so it's kind of a scary process. You never know what's going to happen. So they apply to the STEM, and they also apply for Elwood Elementary on the way to Mom's office. That creates 4 more applications. So at the end of the day, you have a family here who they're just trying to get a good education for their kids, and they end up with all of these applications, 5 different application types. They've got 4 different application deadlines to remember and 7 paper forms to complete and track. And obviously, when you have a lot going on, it kind of hurts a little bit, and things tend to sort of mentally fall apart, as you can see here. So what we want to do is show it from the district perspective really quickly. You can see that the parents, now they're not smiling anymore. From the district perspective, you have 3 different schools. You got an elementary, a middle, and a high school, because you have 3 different grade levels of children here. You've got applications just going everywhere, all over the place. There's no way to ensure processing time, a standardized processing time for the district. There's no way to really share information. If it's on paper, it becomes kind of difficult. It kind of becomes chaotic. And of course, that also hurts as well. And you can see we have our district processor over here. She's not too happy as well. Her world is also simultaneously falling apart with all this paper. So with ScribChoice, we really simplify things. We have one platform. Parents create an online account. They complete the application. They relax, and they wait for the automatic updates. It's really that simple. They're not dealing with paper or anything like that anymore. From the district processor's perspective, she's logging into a single application, processing from a simple queue, and she's able to take extra time for lunch because there's not paper everywhere. Everybody wins, due to our good friend Scribbles here. So moving along, we're going to take a look at some of the components that we have. This is the basic components of ScribChoice. On the choice side, obviously it's 100% hosted. We have a centralized family dashboard, access to multiple program types, school choice, charter magnet, IB International. I mean, really, it's really anything that you guys offer. Creative and performing arts as well. Transfers and releases, of course, that's a big deal. A lot of our clients get started with doing transfers first, then they move on to the programs. Withdrawals, that's a big thing that we just added. So you can do withdrawals, releases, things like that. We have multi-step approval workflows. We also, which is a big feature, random and weighted lotteries. So the lottery functionality is a very big deal in our system. Nobody's really doing it the way we're doing it. Obviously, those lotteries can have different preference tiers, sibling employee twins, just to name a few. Some of you guys might have additional tiers, and that's okay. We can certainly discuss those come time for implementation. Of course, we have full waitlist management. So, not only can you offer children seats, you can also waitlist them, view the waitlist, pull them off the waitlist, things of that nature. It goes without saying that everything we do here is pretty much on the cutting edge of technology. We're always keeping up with the latest technology. So all of our apps are fully mobile responsive. A good portion of our applications come from mobile devices, tablets, phones, things like that. We have built-in translation, just like Tom Austin discussed earlier today. We have Google Translate built into everything. So the parent would essentially, if they don't speak English, they could translate the first page, and then every page after that will be translated. Custom notifications that we build out, customized to your district. Those notifications include email, SMS, voicemail. We really spare no expense there for the notifications. So the next thing we want to show is a little wow factor here. So there's a lot of features things that we do that are basic, but there's a lot of things that we do that are really nice. Custom application questionnaire. This is something that you can customize for any of your programs, for transfers, doesn't matter. We have the ability to customize those questions. We have lots of fields that we can use. We have logic-based question flow now. So if somebody says yes to a particular question, we can open up additional items there. Recommendation management. This is a big one. This is one of our newer features, and I'm actually going to cover that after this section. We're going to take a look at that. But essentially what it is we create a custom recommendation questionnaire that automatically goes out to the counselor or teacher that might need to submit a recommendation for the student. So those are really super handy with automated emails as well. Another big deal is the interview and audition scheduler. Now, Tom outlined earlier the ability to do that on video. You don't have to use the video, but we do have the ability to use that video along with the scheduling piece, which you saw a little earlier today. With those virtual meetings, you can have up to 4 participants. The meeting recording is archived for your viewing later. So we have status verification queues also built in the system. What that means is that you have a question, and let's say you have it's a yes/no question, and they answer yes to a specific question. The parent does on the application. You want those applications with the answer of yes to go route into its own custom queue to be looked at by a specific person, a nurse, or busing or something along those lines. We have those now. Custom status decisions, so you can have different buttons that you can customize for different status decisions, things like that. Full parent document uploads. The parents can always upload any kind of documentation they want. Internal workflow notifications. Of course, we have a detailed reporting suite. There's really not much data that you can't get out of this system. We have lots of reports. We are always enhancing these reports as well. We work rather fast. You can also view some on-screen reports as well. And of course, export to Excel. Integrated tuition collection. This is something that I'm going to be covering as well. This is one of the 2 new features that I'm going to show you guys in just a sec. We have the ability to now collect tuition for transfers. So out of county, if you guys charge for a transfer within county, you can actually collect tuition now, right from within the app. We can do monthly payments. We can do quarterly payments. And of course, to round it all out, we have a full audit trail within the application. So just making sure everybody's still paying attention, we're going to take a look at a couple of the new features that we have next. So we're going to look at teacher recommendations quickly. This is a really, really awesome piece of tech that we put in there. Essentially what happens is the parent fills out recommendations section of the application. So this is part of our question builder. We put a couple of little hooks in there, and the parent, whenever they fill out their application, they're going to have to enter some data here: last name, first name, email, and relationship. So what's happening here is when they submit this application, the people that you see here, the emails, an email is going to be sent out to both of these people. We are currently, for this particular screenshot, we're requiring 2. Some clients require 3 recommendations for high school programs. We can always set the amount that we need there. But what happens is the teacher receives an email with a brief introduction. This email is customized as well. We can say whatever we want. We can even put graphics in the email. Now this goes out to the teachers or the counselor or whoever needs to give a recommendation. It's not just available to teachers and counselors. If you need an outside recommendation from anything else, you can get those in the system. So what'll happen is the teacher or whoever's filling out the recommendation, they click on that link in the email, they fill out the custom form, and then they submit it to the district. So the form that we're presenting to the people that need to give you recommendations is custom as well. Just like we can customize the application, we can customize this form. As you can see here, there's a few examples of the type of things that you would get for recommendations: behavior, effort, ability to succeed. I mean, all these are custom questions here with drop downs with different statuses and things like that. We can ask essay questions, open-ended questions, all kinds of cool stuff that the teachers or the counselors or whoever else needs to submit a recommendation can get that into the district. The processor on your side, they can see who has filled out their recommendation and who has not. So this is kind of like a little snippet of a view of an application within the system that you guys would see. You would be able to tell if all of these recommendations were in. So for this example, let's say that you require 2 recommendations in order for you to be able to process their application. You can come in here and see that you haven't gotten both of those yet. And that's okay. You see that they've gotten one, and maybe it's been a week or so, and this person, John Smith, for whatever reason, they're not going to opt out. They're not going to fill out the recommendation. Doesn't matter what reason it is. You always have the ability, along with the parent, to add additional recommendation emails to your application. So if a parent needs 2 and they're waiting for their application to be processed because they're lacking 1, they can go into their family dashboard and add another email address. And that email will go out automatically to the new teacher or counselor. So that's a really cool feature that we have that a lot of our clients do for programs, early college, things like that. The next thing I want to touch on is a feature that's used for out-of-county transfers, mostly. Tuition payments. So with tuition payments, essentially, it starts off with a button. When we enable this in your site, you'll see a button on the application processing page, request tuition. You click the button. What will happen at that point is the processor then checks off the amount of tuition owed. This can be broken down into quarterly or monthly payments. So let's say that for this particular example here, there's $475 due each quarter. And so we can have different due dates. As you can see here, we can send an automatic reminder to the parents at whatever date you choose, and then we can make the payment due whenever you choose. So in this case, let's say that we just wanted to request one amount, $475. Let's say that we're in the last quarter of the school year, and we're only going to charge them for 1 quarter. We can just choose to check off $475 and hit confirm tuition. What will happen at this point the parent receives notification, they log into their family dashboard to see the pay tuition button, they click on it. So by you guys kicking off that request for tuition, that enabled this button to appear on this person's family dashboard. So the button appeared, the parent clicks it. Whenever they click that button, they're brought to a page where they can then see how, kind of what they're being asked to pay. They need to check it off. They check off that they understand, they initial, they sign, and then they go to the next step, which of course is to enter their credit card information. They can enter that right here on the page. They can confirm their payment, and they pay their tuition. So all of that is done within this app. So you have an out-of-county transfer that requires tuition. Not only can you take the application within our ScribChoice system, but you can also take payments. So really, this is just two new things that are kind of a big deal to us that we feel are really important. But the app can do so much more. I mean, I could be here all day talking about all the features. Honestly, I mean, this app does so much. We really need to, get you guys, whoever's interested, scheduled with one of our sales team and take a look at a demo and go through it, because honestly, I mean, pretty much it's going to bake cookies at some point. So some benefits, how we eventually make life easier for you guys. We're going to, of course, save the district time and money. We're going to automate the capture and archival of routing, approval, district applications. It's self-service for families, so it really gives them peace of mind. We control, we optimize the process from start to finish. Parents don't need to go here and there and fill out this form over here and this paper over here. Maybe this school has a Google form they use. None of that. It all goes in within our system, one system. That enables you to have an accelerated turnaround time, simplify lottery mechanisms, and of course, it enables transparency. That's one of the big things that we also want to do with this app, is enable transparency for the parent. The parent can always log into their family dashboard. They can see the status of their application. They can upload documents, things like that. I mean, it really is a very powerful tool for parents. Obviously, we provide parent support as well. We don't want you guys to be inundated with phone calls, and we understand that it's a new process for parents when they start doing this. So at any given time, a parent has an issue with going through this process. They're having a technical issue, they can come to us. So our support isn't just offered for you guys. We offer full support to your parents as well. So just send them to us and we'll take care of them. And of course, lastly, we offer remote access to all applications. So let's say that we're in a pandemic, if that ever happens, and everybody's working from home. Well, how are you going to manage all these programs on paper whenever you're sitting at home? It's just not something that's possible. So that's why, we've been really super busy this year setting up a lot of these one after another, because it allows you guys to sit at home and process these things that you would have needed to be at a desk in a building with everybody else with paper all over the place. Having remote access to everything is super valuable. I really think that anybody that isn't currently on board really needs to get on board with this, because it's really going to make life a lot easier for you guys. So at this point, Bridget, I think this is time for questions before we do our prize.
It is. It is time for questions. What questions does the team have for Tommy?
I see several questions here, Tommy.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
We'll go through several of these. Do parents need to enroll prior to completing an application? For example, a student in a private school wants to apply for one of our choice options, but will not be attending our school unless they get an approval for choice.
Yeah, that's a great question, because these things go hand in hand, right? So no, they do not have to enroll unless you want them to. So we give you guys flexibility. We have some clients that absolutely need the child to be enrolled before they can even see any kind of programs offered. But if you don't want to do it that way, then we don't have to do it that way. You can absolutely have the students apply. And that's kind of what happens with smaller districts and lotteries as well, entrance lotteries, especially for charter schools, where you're not going to have the kids submit their enrollment paperwork before they're even, gotten a seat, right? So we create a simple form. They fill it out with all the basic information, and that allows you to get their name in the pot and do what you need to do. And then if they are offered a seat in the program, then they can come back in and they can do their enrollment all within the same app. Now, the cool thing about that is that once they're ready to enroll, there's a lot of information that they don't have to fill out again, because they've already done that. They've already created their account. They've already associated their students. They've created their profiles, things like that. So it's a matter of simply logging back in and just going on to the enrollment process versus any kind of program process. So great question.
Good. Thank you, Denise. That was a great question. Tommy, here's another one from Paula in Connecticut. Does Scribbles take a percentage of the tuition payments?
There are credit card fees associated because, obviously with $475, there's a 2-3% fee. We'll have to double check what that is, but there is a credit card fee that needs to be taken. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't, we can't do something to make that less impactful. But with those transactions, there is a credit card fee. But we don't take a convenience fee. So there's no convenience fee. We're not making a profit off of it. Any credit card fee that we get is something for us to pay the credit card fees.
Right. So Paul, I guess the short answer is no. We do not take a percentage of your tuition payment. That we just pass along the bank credit card fee that is typical for all credit card transactions. I'll circle back with you on that as well. We have Rosalind. Can the tuition step setup apply to the registration process?
You can have tuition on any apps. We can turn it on and it can be available to you. Absolutely. We're not going to limit what applications you can use tuition on.
All right, very good. We have another one here from Donna. What is the time frame for implementing the choice system? Can the system also be designed with walk zones or attendance zones?
Yes, so the two-part question. So the first part is usually we say anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how big your processes are. If you have a lot of different programs and there's a lot of schools and you're dealing with forms and all kinds of testing, it does take a while to implement because there needs to be kind of a feedback loop between both of our teams. But we have been known to work quite fast, especially in the pandemic. We've had so many very quick turnarounds. So it really is just a matter of talking with you through what you're trying to do, and that'll give us a better idea of what our time frame is. But usually we say 6 to 8 weeks. Now the second piece is interesting. Do we do anything with locations and blocks? Yes, we do. We can take a block file, your block data, load it into our system, and only show those programs and opportunities in schools that apply to that person. So essentially, we would check in the system, we would check the student's identity. Basically, we would check the student ID. We would cross-reference that with their parent's address, and then we would check what block their address is in. And then, bam, when they go through the wizard, they will only see what's available to them. Yes, we are doing that currently as we speak.
Fantastic. All right. And then, Tommy, we have another one from Felicia regarding teacher recommendations and would they receive scheduled reminders to complete the recommendation? Yes,
it's automatic every day. They're going to get an email every day, no matter what we do. Every single day, they're going to get an email until they either opt out or complete it. So when they open up whenever they click on the link in the email that they receive, they're going to open up the page to fill out the recommendation. They're either going to need to click the opt-out button at the bottom. We always give everyone the ability to actually opt out. They click that, or they fill everything out and submit it. Those are the only two ways that the emails stop. So yes, we do reminders. We like to hit them hard.
Very good. Let's see.
Just kind of adding to the teacher recommendation there, I think that is probably one of my favorite features in ScribChoice. When I used to work at a school district, and I was introduced to Scribbles through ScribChoice, and of course it made my job a ton easier. But I'm thinking back to my teacher days when students would complete applications for choice programs, and I would have papers all over the place. And every year it seemed like it was a different process. This year we give it to the counselor. This year we give it to the district office. You send them all these different places. So one, from the teacher's perspective, it keeps everything really nice and organized. And from the district perspective, I know that when we would fill student spots, you don't get to just refill those spots if a kid leaves. So those recommendations and the appointments, interviews, those kind of things are really important when you're putting students in programs or selecting students for programs. So to be able to have that capability to do an interview, to do a recommendation is really important, because once you fill that spot, you may never get to backfill it. So once you lose that spot, it's a lost spot. So it's really valuable to be able to keep everything in one spot, and especially during the pandemic now, be able to share that information with multiple people in a virtual environment. So it's very helpful. I'm glad that happened.
Too bad it didn't happen while we were implementing yours.
That's okay. That's okay. This team, I have to say, looking back on those days, this team always came through. This team always helped, always had a solution, always had a workaround. It's all good. It's all good, definitely. Any other questions?
I do see another question. This is a good one. It says, we might be shutting down again. Is there a way to do choice auditions or interviews virtually?
Yes, there absolutely is. We've had the interview piece in our system for a while now, which effectively is, you click a button in the application, it tells the parent to go into their family dashboard and schedule an interview. And Tom Austin a little earlier today showed a few screenshots of that. But just recently, we added on the ability to do virtual interviews. So now not only can the parent schedule the interview, but you can also do it virtually. We think it's going to be a huge feature because, we're going on lockdowns. There's no question. This year is going to be it's going to be a bumpy ride. So, we feel like we definitely need a solution, and we have one now. So, you can do those virtual interviews right here within the app. Whenever you're done doing the interview, it will save a recording right to the student's application, and then you can always view it from there. Great question.
Great.
One of our newest features.
I started typing an answer to this one regarding college search in application module, which I don't think specifically that we have something like that. However, ScribOrder can be used in that process to send transcripts to colleges and universities. The question specifically reads, do you have a college search and application module?
I would need to get more specifics on that to answer that question.
Right. I think initially, my answer to that would be no, but ScribOrder can enhance the process, the particular part of that process for submitting transcripts.
Yep.
And
anything else you see, Mike?
Let's see. We have I'm flipping through between like two or three different.
I have one from Felicia.
Okay, I see that here too.
Translations. What language? Gosh, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know the number, but it is a lot. It is an advanced
109.
version. What is that, Mike?
It's over 100. It's like 109.
Yeah, it's something. It's definitely over 100. There's no question. It's really anything that you can throw at it, pretty much.
It is 109.
109. Nice.
It is.
All right.
No, so part of that Google Translate, it doesn't speak for them, but that is a very interesting idea. But unfortunately, right now it's just what they see on the screen, and it's based off of some advanced Google Translate. So it's a little bit better than standard Google Translate. It knows a little more nuances than you would expect, and we haven't had any issues with it so far.
Currently I don't see any outstanding questions. If we, I don't know, Chandler, are you going to announce the winner of our drawing for this session as well? Or Julia?
I will be announcing again. Are we ready?
We are ready. We are ready.
All right. So for those who don't know, I like to do a little drum roll before we announce just to get everybody nice and excited. So without further ado, Sandra Rodriguez from Prince George's County. So congratulations to you. Bridget's going to be setting you up with a prize.
Congratulations, Sandra.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I know that people may think of other questions.
Can we address one of those right now? I'm sorry, another one squeaked in.
Let's do it.
We'll get one. Okay, here we go. Can we use the family dashboard to create new family communications such as might be related to COVID or other issues?
Yes, we have some very new features that are actually going to be discussed, I believe, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, so stay tuned. Tommy, if you want to talk about any of that really quick, you can. We have a little bit of time before the next session gets started at 1:45. But I would encourage anybody that is looking to reach out to families to gather information or to offer information, especially with COVID happening and doesn't seem to be ending. Please attend the session on connection forms tomorrow. Yep. That session will be at, at 12:15 tomorrow. Please join that session. You will hear about some of the innovative ways that school districts have been using connection forms and ways that they've been able to engage their families and get very critical and vital information that they need to either stay open or to close.
Right, and that's exactly what that is. That's what we call our connection forms, and that's very new. Very broad overview. Essentially, it's a way to send notifications out to parents that are registered within the system, where they will get a link to their dashboard. They'll be able to log into their dashboard, and they can actually agree, and you can create forms and notifications and notices and things like that. It's very, very cool stuff, very cutting edge. So stay tuned tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's also really important just to be thinking about how families, when schools are open, you give the paperwork to the kids go home, they bring the paperwork to mom and dad or a guardian, and then that comes back to the school. You have the information you need to be able to implement new plans or ideas. When schools are closed, you still have to get that information to families, and you don't always know if they're getting that email, if it's going to their spam. When you have a family dashboard, you can see if the family is logged in, if they've receive the information, and that's really important as well to be able to notice. Yep. And to be able to follow up. The follow-up is a major part of that as well.
Yeah, so the goal with ScribChoice, Scrib and Roll connection form is to kind of put all of these things that would need paper and hand-to-hand contact and things like that, put it all here so that you guys don't skip a beat.